One of the questions I get the most often is all comments as well as along the lines of, I don't know music theory, I don't understand music theory, and I don't know where to start. And I agree that's quite perplexing and a bit tricky, but I thought today I've got a nice way of getting us started. I'm going to intentionally omit a lot of information, not because I don't know it or I don't think it's important, but because this is supposed to be a super basic lesson. This is not the lesson to end all lessons. This is just one nugget of information, one stepping stone on the journey. So please don't get upset or make silly comments if I'm leaving stuff out. We'll get to that. And I've always said, or it took me several years to figure it out, but I started saying at some point, and I've said for a long time now, I believe that theory is best learned gradually in bite-sized chunks in conjunction with playing songs that you love, improvising, jamming, learning chords, all this other stuff. So theory is not a monolithic piece of knowledge that we at some point are enlightened to and we learn. It's actually a little bit per day, a little bit per practice session, in this case a little bit per YouTube video. So I'm going to do my best to give you some good stuff today. I'm not giving you everything I know. No one could do that. It would take hours and hours and hours, and you wouldn't absorb the information anyway. So let's get started. We're going to learn a series of arpeggios. They all have exactly the same shape. They're just on different strings. That makes it a lot easier, of course, which is why I've chosen to do it that way. So we're going to do a bit about the names of the strings and some notes and some arpeggio shapes. All right. So you should know the string names: E, A, D, G, B, E. E, A, D, G, B, E. That's standard tuning. Of course, there's alternate tunings. The way I was taught when I was a kid was even a brain gets brains eventually. E, A, D, G, B, E. Although later on I heard, and I prefer, Eddie ate dynamite good by Eddie. But however you remember the names of the strings, that will be important. Also, this is one of my bugbears, so I'll say it here. This is the low E string. A lot of people call it the high string. It's the low string because it has the lowest pitch. And that's the high E string because it has the highest pitch. Cool. So let's get to the good stuff now. So lesson starts at 250 for those who do it that way. On the high E string, we're going to play 0, 4, 7. 0, 4, 7. That is an E major arpeggio. I am going to be skipping some information here. I already said that. But for now, you'll have to trust me. And in previous videos and future videos, I'll explain how and why that's an E major arpeggio. But we're on our E string, our high E string, the first string, and we're playing 0, 4, 7. And what could be nice, you can play, since that's an E major arpeggio, let's play an E major chord. And it matches quite nicely. I'm not going to teach chords today. I'm sure most of you know plenty of chords, and if not, you'll probably go and find a more beginner level video. Let's move to the next string, the B string, and we're going to play a B major arpeggio. It's going to be exactly the same shape. 0, 4, 7. So E was 0, 4, 7 on the E string, and B is 0, 4, 7 on the B string. This pattern then continues the whole way across the guitar, and this is why as we start to unlock some knowledge, we actually get kind of hyperspeed benefits, because often you can learn something in one key or one pattern or one string, but then immediately begin to apply it to all the other strings, all the other keys, all the other patterns. And before you know it, you know music theory, and it went from this impenetrable jungle to something far more interesting, or far more graspable. So we're on the G string, the third string, and we're going to go 0, 4, 7. G major arpeggio, 0, 4, 7. As always, I will put a tab for this lesson on my Patreon page. Thank you to my loyal Patreons. I greatly appreciate your support. It's very kind to know that people value what I do here. So there'll be tabs on there, and also on Patreon each day I do a more advanced lesson. So this is the beginner version. If you want the deeper stuff, more advanced stuff, you come to Patreon. D string, D major, 047. Goes with the D chord. Now, of course, there's many musical applications for this information. I'm not going to put it in this video because I like my videos to just be bite-sized chunks. And we're just hoping that some of you out there, even one of you would be plenty for me, goes, oh my God, I get it. I've made a step forward. That's the A string, 047, A major arpeggio. And then we're back to our low E string. The low E string is the same as the high E string. They're both E notes, of course, just in different octaves. So anything that we can play on one E string, we can play identically on the other E string, and it just has a different pitch, but it's the same. So let's go through what we learned. And you actually just learned 6 major arpeggios. That should hopefully be quite useful for some of you. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to put a link here. I've never done this before, but my band Calidad, you can check out the merchandise if you'd like to actually hear me play and support the project. Vinyl, CDs, t-shirts, all kinds of great stuff. I'll put a link to our Bandcamp page and you can check it out. Thank you so much.